Mastering yourself. The greatest gift you could ever give yourself is also the wisest business investment you could ever make. It is also the most critical step in accomplishing any challenging task, and is the one step without which all other success strategies, no matter how brilliant or time-tested, are doomed to fail. What is this mysterious gift? It is your own personal development. Investing in your own improvement, your own personal growth and betterment, is all these things and more. Abraham Lincoln said, "Give me 6 hours to chop down a tree, and I will spend the first 4 hours sharpening the axe." In other words, he would spend twice as much time working on himself as on the task itself. What do most people do? They grab the axe, dull or not, and start wailing away at the tree. And if they aren't making a major dent in that tree pretty soon, they quit and probably mutter something about how it's the tree's fault. How you swing the axe, how hard, in what arc, and with what rhythm on exactly what spot you hit the tree, all these are strategies that concern your actions, and they can all be measured, weighed, and improved. But it starts with the axe itself, and the axe is you. Results come last. It is easy to be seduced by the promise of results. We live in a results-oriented world, a culture that overwhelmingly measures the success of a course of action by its results. Talk is cheap, after all, and what is it that really matters? Results, the bottom line. Show me. Proof of the pudding's in the eating, right? But there is a problem here. There's a flaw in this thinking. In fact, the flaw in this thinking is so profound, 95% of all people's efforts are ending up as failure. And what is so remarkable is that this isn't some deep, hidden, subtle flaw. It's so obvious, everyone ought to see it. But it's so deeply ingrained in our culture, nearly everyone is hypnotized into missing it. Here is the flaw. How can you judge the course of action you're taking by its results when its results come last? What you can do with your results is learn from them. Results are valuable feedback. Let them help motivate and guide your tomorrows. But a focus on results only takes you out of the present moment where the action really is. What about your actions? Many approaches to personal and professional development I have observed go deeper than results by focusing instead on your actions as the place to bring about positive change. That's a logical place to start looking, but the problem is that your actions are not the source of your success or failure. That's why diets don't work. They can't. They're doomed to fail because most diets dictate what your actions should be. They don't deal with where your actions come from. What about attitudes? Most popular approaches to personal and professional development understand the power of attitude as well, and put some of their focus on taking you behind the actions to look at your attitudes. But this approach is still not getting to the heart of the matter. The only reliable, consistent way to control your attitudes, that control your actions, which control your results, is to control your thoughts. And the source of your thoughts is your philosophy. This is why the master entrepreneur W. Clement Stone uttered these often quoted words, "What the mind of man can conceive and believe, the mind of man can achieve." Your philosophy is your paradigm, your view of the way life is. It is how you say life works or doesn't work, and determines everything about the course of actions you'll choose and keep choosing over time. Your philosophy is the foundation upon which you build your life. There is nothing more fundamental or essential. The foundation upon which you are building the house of your life is what will determine the nature of the house itself. Will the house stand? Will it fall apart? Will it leak? Or will it withstand whatever weather nature throws at it? What results will your life produce? It is a critically important question because by the time the results are in, the outcome will already be pretty well determined. You can't wait for your results to judge your actions. You can't wait to see what kind of house you've got before you judge whether or not it had a sturdy foundation. Your success will always be the progressive realization of a worthy ideal. Your philosophy comes first. Your results come last. And this brings us to the most important strategy of all: continuous learning. American author, humorist, and common sense commentator Mark Twain observed, "The trouble with the world is not that people know too little, but that they know so many things that ain't so." We've talked about all sorts of forces you can harness to help power your path through life. The most important force of all is the power of continuous learning. Once you've set foot on the path of mastery, educating yourself through any and all means available is the critical process that will keep you on that path of mastery. I don't mean education in the more narrowly defined sense of learning specific skills or subjects. Naturally, you need to pursue continuous learning in order to acquire the knowledge and skills involved in mastering any subject or pursuit that will contribute to your personal and professional growth and development. But it's more than simply a matter of acquiring specific knowledge. Continuous, lifelong learning is the material from which you continually build your philosophy. Learning is also the material from which you build your awareness. Of the slightly more than 6 billion people on Earth, 1 billion cannot read. But consider this: if you are one of that 58% who never reads after high school, what's the difference between you and the billion people around the world who couldn't read if they wanted to? No difference at all. Of course, simply reading won't necessarily put you on the success curve. When was the last time you attended a seminar or took an adult education class? Not because you were required to, but simply to improve yourself. When was the last time you went bowling? If your bowling average is over 200, congratulations, you're a heck of a bowler, and you may want to rethink your priorities. I know bowling is one of the most popular pastimes in the United States, but wouldn't you rather have success be your most popular pastime? I'm not picking on bowling or any other form of recreation. We need balance in our lives, and taking time at the bowling alley can also serve you in all sorts of ways: your fitness, your relationships with your friends, your ability to let work go, to relax and have fun. All good things. But the question is, are you developing yourself? Are you building your dream or only your boss's? Shape your philosophy by reading just one chapter of an information-rich, inspiring book every day. Listen to 15 minutes of a life-transforming audio cassette or CD. Take a course or seminar every few weeks or months. Are these things easy to do? Sure. And those simple disciplines, compounded over time, like a penny doubled every day for a month, will send you up to the top. Are they easy not to do? No question. And if you don't do them, will you destroy your life today? Of course not. But that simple error in judgment, compounded over time, will pull you down the curve of failure and take away everything you've hoped for and dreamed about forever. Let me ask you a question. If 5 frogs sat on a lily pad and one decided to jump off, how many will be left? The answer is 5. All of them are still sitting there because one frog only decided to jump. He didn't actually jump. The famous Chinese proverb says, "The journey of 1,000 miles starts with a single step." But note, the journey starts with taking a single step, not with thinking about taking a step. Plenty of people accumulate knowledge but still dwell on the failure curve. It's not only the quantity of knowledge that sets and keeps your course, but also the quality of knowledge and the habitual action behind it. There are different types of knowledge and different avenues of learning. If you want to stay grounded and move ahead at the same time, you need a balance, and you need habitual action that reflects your philosophy. I'm often asked for the key to success. What's the one thing I can do to guarantee my success? My answer is always the same. You can't build your dream by what you're going to do or planning to do or intend to do. You only build your dream by building it. If you aren't doing, you're dying. Life is doing. Confucius said, "Knowledge without practice is useless. Practice without knowledge is dangerous. I can read a book like As a Man Thinketh, return it to my bookshelf, then come back a year later and read it again, and it feels like somebody sneaked into my room while I was sleeping and completely rewrote the book. Why? Because of the learning by doing I've gone through in the interim. My experiences have changed my perspective. Now, when I read a particular passage or point the author makes, I understand it in a way I could not have possibly seen a year ago. And that in turn informs my behavior. Now, when I go to engage in my activity of the next day, I can apply what I've learned from James Allen in a way that I would have not thought of even 24 hours ago. Book smarts, street smarts. Learning by study, learning by doing. Read about it, apply it, see it in action. Take that practical experience back to my reading. Deepen my understanding. Take that deeper understanding back to my activity. It's a never-ending cycle, each aspect of learning feeding the other. Like climbing a ladder. Right foot, left foot, right foot, left foot. Can you imagine trying to climb a ladder with only your right foot? The two work together. What's more, they not only work better together, each amplifying the other, but the truth is they really cannot work separately, at least not for long. You can't go to the top based purely on knowledge learned in study. You can't go to the top purely through knowledge gleaned through action. The two have to work together. You've heard the expression, before you can walk, you have to crawl. There's much more profound truth to this than most of us ever realized. As you learn, through study and doing, information and experience, book smarts and street smarts, you gradually lower your level of anxiety by raising your level of mastery. As you continue climbing that ladder of knowledge, remember right foot, left foot, right foot, left foot, study action, study action. You keep your eyes on worthy mentors, always using learning through modeling as your learning gyroscope to keep you on track.